Hello everybody, it's Glass Half Dead here, and today I'm talking about something that's near and dear to my heart that is not Kill Team, but is also kind of a little bit Kill Team. But when not being the amazing, hugely, incredibly big YouTube celebrity that I am, I tend to write. I'm a little bit of a dabbler. I dabble with some words, I put them on a page, a digital page, obviously. And so Black Library is very much a thing that I pay attention to. And every, I think, 6 months, maybe a year, they do have a come and write for Black Library. It's basically something that all publishers do. Well, almost all publishers do, where they have an open submissions window, which basically just means you don't have to have an agent to submit to them for that month or whatever it is. Now, obviously, Games Workshop, because they have such a dedicated fan base, I suspect is in a really privileged position when it comes to weeding out exactly what they want from these open submissions. But that's a whole other thing to do with the publishing industry. Let's not go into that. Let's actually read what it says. But I'm not going to, because that's boring. I've already read it. You can read it. Let's get down to what they want. They want effectively, and this is why it's related to Kill Team, they want something that is about a tight knit group of soldiers, or not necessarily soldiers, but just people, a tight knit group of people, and just something about them. It can be 40k, it can be Sigmar, it can be Blood Bowl. They even mentioned you could do that if you want. It could be Blackstone Fortress, it could be Warcry, it could be anything. Now, I suspect what they're actually going to do is they want you to create this little thing here for them for the open submission, but they won't actually commission that specific piece from you. They will ask for something they genuinely want. So this really is just a hey, submit your writing, and if we like that specific thing, we will ask you to do something we actually want from you. So this is very much a test. A test you have to pass to have the dubious honor of writing for Black Library. Now this is very exciting for obvious reasons. I mean, we all enjoy 40k. If you're on this channel, you like some 40k, right? You may not be into the fluff. You may have never read a Black Library book, but you've probably, gone on r/40k lore, or some guy has started talking to you about how the Primarchs are the best, and you've thought, oh, well, which Primarch are my Legion from? And you found out that it was a guy called Horus, and you were like, oh, he's probably a good guy. So, and then you looked into it more and you were shocked. Basically, they want a little something about a tight knit group of people. I've said that multiple times now. Let's have a look at what they actually genuinely want. So, they want a 500-word sample, a one paragraph summary of the entire story, which features a group, and they want character bios describing the group's key members. Cool. And finally, the prompts that they give you to kind of kick your story off are betrayal from within, against the odds, and hunt for glory. Now, I suspect that the reason that they give you these little prompts and ask for a very specific thing instead of a generic, hey, give us an Imperial Guard story or give us a Warhammer story, it can be literally anything, is also part of the test. They want to know that you can do something to a deadline. Now, what they are asking for here to be delivered by, I think it's the 28th, 23rd of September, to write 500 words and a small paragraph and a few character bios. Super easy. Super easy. This effectively isn't a deadline. If you can write, you can do this, okay? But it's still part of the test because who knows, maybe they aren't expecting a seasoned author to actually apply for this. They are expecting a genuine amateur who, whilst they love the lore, they haven't written before, perhaps. They're trying to really find those diamonds in the rough. I know that phrase from Aladdin. by the way. So that's it. That's all they ask. They then go over a few books which they are using to illustrate the point. I do believe this Deathwatch Shadowbreaker, I've clicked on it. I believe they're releasing a new Deathwatch book. I heard a rumor a new Deathwatch book is coming out soon. Again by Steve Parker, who, by the way, if you haven't seen Steve Parker, dude is jacked. God damn, that man hits the gym. That man hits the gym. Anyway, let's talk. You know what? I'm just going to talk about cool stories that people might want to write for the next 4 minutes. So strap in. So I would genuinely suggest looking at other media and using tropes. Okay? If this is your first time having a crack at writing, or maybe you've dabbled before but you've never released a book and you don't quite know what you want to do, but you've got lots of ideas in your head about cool stories you could write, I would suggest look at common tropes. For example, well, okay, so this one is obviously already taken, but Colonel Schaefer's last chances are literally just the Dirty Dozen. That's all they are. They didn't even try to disguise it. It's just, hey, this is the Dirty Dozen in 40k. You know, that's GW obviously saying, hey, this is okay. If you can write well and in the style that they like, they don't care if you're smashing those tropes out of the park. Because also, I suppose, little authorly note, there's nothing wrong with tropes. Tropes are there to help the reader. Okay, do not think, oh, this idea has been done before by one French author in the 1700s. I can't ever use it. Tropes are a helpful tool for the reader. Do not shy away from them. Do them well. Oh my god, if you do a trope badly, it's terrible, and and your book will be worse for using that trope. But if you do the trope brilliantly, hell, even averagely, it is a benefit to your book. So do not shy away from tropes, is what I'm saying there. What other sort of tropes could we think of that involve a tight knit band? Now, I'm going to be honest, I've already had a thought of this, and some authors guard their secrets jealously because they don't understand how the world works and how publishing works. Ideas cannot be copywritten, ideas are free, everyone has ideas. Let's talk about other things you could do. My instant thought, what I'm probably going to do is murder mystery. That's fun, right? Bit of murder mystery, a quick little you could do it any way you want. You could do it any way you want. So you can have a murder mystery with, let's say, 6 people. That's a manageable cast, maybe going up to 8, maybe down to 4. Four's a bit small though. Um Proper Agatha Christie style murder mystery, but every now and again you throw in a demon or a chaos worshipper or two, right? And you throw in red herrings. Red herrings are hugely fun to read, guys. Obviously, you grimdark it up. Obviously, everything you do, you have to fit into the Black Library style, which is a very, very specific style. It's a style that I cannot write. I just can't do it. It's not a style I enjoy reading particularly. It's not a style, therefore, I can write particularly well. Yeah, so that I'm not going to enter because I cannot write in that style. I have a very different style. It's much more casual. It's much more light-hearted, and that's fine. I'm not a Black Library author. I do not disparage their work. It's a different style. It's like some people like horror, some people like action. Different style. It's all good. Whatever. So murder mystery with obviously added warp and grimdark thrown in. What else could we think of? You know what? You know what's a good one? Classic. The classic that everybody knows, the hero's journey. You know what? You cannot go wrong with the hero's journey. Take a tight knit group of people, hero's journey it. You know what else is a good one? Oh, what's the trope called? The one where it's like a extended training. I should know the name of the trope. It's where like you throw a character who effectively is the reader because they know nothing about what they're learning about. And you throw them into a situation or a training school, and they then have to train. So, for example, this could be, let's say, a scion, right? A scion. No, actually, scions are born into the Scholar Progenium. Um, Not always though. So, an orphan is brought into the Scholar Progenium a little bit later than usual, therefore knows nothing that all of the other kids do know. That's a perfect foil for you to use to explain things to the reader. It would be a brilliant beginner's book to the Black Library series. What else? There's lots of other things you could do, honestly. But those are the only ones that are jumping to my mind right now. And I've hit 10 minutes, so I can probably stop talking. As a bit of fun for myself, I am actually going to enter this. I'm not expecting it to go anywhere because, as already mentioned, it's just not my style. I cannot handle it. All of these sound interesting. Betrayal from Within and Against the Odds. Actually, Hunt for Glory interests me less. Against the Odds is cool. Betrayal from Within, very cool. Hunt for Glory, not my thing. Well, I suppose it could be. I mean, something that's always fun is to play with the tropes. I've just said that using tropes is good, but Hunt for Glory doesn't interest me. I don't want to read about a hero after a quest. I would, however, quite like I always enjoy the idea of writing a villain that doesn't know he's a villain. So the Hunt for Glory in that aspect could be, the standard, the Rogue Inquisitor, or let's say um, an Imperial Commissar that ran away with no, that wouldn't work. Jesus. So an Imperial Guard squad or battalion that fell back from the enemy. Let's say a squad because that's more interesting. It's more personal. Fell back from the enemy, and it turns out, one of them is actually a chaos cultist and blah blah blah. Um, and then they're actually being hunted by a loyalist commissar, but they think the commissar, well, is just a bit of a dick because all Imperial Guardsmen think the commissar's a bit of a dick. But it turns out that actually this Imperial Guard squad, without realizing it, is falling to chaos. And so the hunt for glory actually becomes them becoming the villain, and what they are hunting for isn't something to destroy chaos, it's something that will aid chaos. They're going to go sacrifice themselves in some sort of bizarre chaos ritual, and because they're being corrupted, they think that's a good idea. Anything. Guys, we could come up with ideas for days. Do you have any ideas? I suspect if you do, you're not as open about them as I am, because again, I've published books, so I am way past the point of thinking I've got to keep ideas to myself. Like, honestly, you don't. I understand the fear completely, but ideas mean nothing. So yeah, there you go. I think this is going to be really good fun. I probably will, for some top lols, actually update you once I have finished my character bio, my one paragraph summary, and my 500 word sample. Because it's a bit of fun. It ties in with Warhammer, and it ties in with my real true passion, which is writing. Yes, that's right. I am not just a Kill Team geek. Weird, I know. Anyway, guys, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on this. If you have any top-notch ideas, tell people. I already know what I'm going to do. And if you need any help or advice, if you want me to read any of your work and give genuine feedback, I'm more than happy to do that. There's actually in my Discord a writing section, which both discussion and fanfic. If you want to drop any links in there, feel free. If you're not on my Discord, don't worry. I'm more than happy to read a link you drop in my comments too. Anyway, this has been Glass Half Dead. Really excited to do a bit of writing for something that isn't one of my own personal projects, because sometimes it's fun to constrain yourself to another person's IP. And that sounded sarcastic, but it wasn't meant to be. And I hope you all have had a good day and continue to have a good day. Glass Half Dead saying goodbye.